You're watching KFDM 6 News tonight at 10.
We appreciate you being with us. I'm Greg Kerr.
And I'm Tiffany Murphy reporting from home so we can continue social distancing. We begin the newscast tonight. Our top story, breaking news about a murder arrest.
Police in Orange arrest 2 suspects, including a teenager on capital murder charges in the killing of 17-year-old Trey Gibson. Gibson died Saturday from a single gunshot wound to his chest. A detective tells KFDM officers arrested 21-year-old Clifton Hawthorne and 17-year-old Davion Riggs today on capital murder charges for that shooting death of Gibson. KFDM is learning a nursing home employee in Jasper has tested positive for COVID-19. The employee at Timber Ridge Health and Rehab Center on Highway 190 is a certified nurse aide. She was tested last week, and today we learned her test results came back positive. Patients have their temperatures checked twice a day, and staff also have their temperatures checked. So far, no patients or staff show signs of COVID-19. This story comes to us through our media partnership with KJAS Radio. Tonight, a Total Petrochemicals employee is in self-quarantine after testing positive for COVID-19. A company spokeswoman tells KFDM the employee has not been at the Port Arthur refinery since March 26th. The company's pandemic response measures include no contact temperature screening of everyone who comes into that plant. The number of confirmed cases in our 6-county region at 159 with 7 deaths now. Here's a look at the breakdown by county. Jefferson County 82, Hardin 39, Orange County 31, Tyler County 3, Jasper County 3, and 1 in Newton County. Unfolding tonight, weeks into the COVID-19 pandemic, Port Neches reporting its first confirmed case of the virus. Up until now, Port Neches had been the only city in Jefferson County without a case. KFDM's Angel San Juan joins us now in the studio. Angel, it's the first and likely not the last in Port Neches?
You're right, Greg. Police Chief Paul Lemoyne tells us there are about a dozen tests from Port Neches pending tonight. But the good news is the man who is the city's first confirmed case is doing well. Turns out he's one of the youngest patients we've heard about in our region. Chief Lemoyne says it's further evidence that the virus does not discriminate. The city of Port Neches is no stranger to disasters. 4 months ago, explosions at the TPC plant rocked the community. But for several weeks now, it seemed like the town was immune to the coronavirus. Up until Tuesday, the only city in Jefferson County with no confirmed cases.
I was looking at the map daily, and you can see all the dots around, and there was no dots in Port Neches other than there were some tests that were pending. So we kind of had an idea that there's probably going to be one, eventually. We knew there would.
Chief Paul Lemoyne was right, but turns out it's not a typical case. This time around, the virus struck a young man in apparently good health.
Between 20 and 30 and no underlying health issues, has a little asthma since childhood, but whenever he started to feel bad, then he went to his private physician, and she determined to testing for the coronavirus, and then so they used a private lab, and it took some time for it to come back, and then of course it came back positive.
Chief Lemoyne says the test came back positive last week on March 31st. The young man's doctor sent the results to the health department, but getting the information to the Emergency Operations Center, which reports to the public, took longer.
Maybe it's an antiquated system because they actually send that by fax, and it may have something to do with the HIPAA law. There's only certain ways you can transmit, medical data, and fax may be the one that's allowed, but then somebody has to go through faxes and get that information, and then send it up to the Emergency Operations Center, who will report it sometime the evening once they get it. But that leaves a lot of room for error. It seemed like it'd be a better way, but there's not.
Chief Lemoyne says the patient remained in self-quarantine the entire time.
Early on, these tests were taken 7-8 days, as did this particular case, and so by the time he gets a positive case, he was pretty much over it by then. It had already been almost 2 weeks, and his quarantine period's over with. He's not showing any symptoms and has recovered nicely.
Chief Lemoyne says now that COVID-19 is hitting close to home, he hopes citizens in Port Neches take it seriously. This past weekend, his officers had to disperse a group of young people playing volleyball at Meadow Green Park. Congregating is not allowed during this health crisis, and playground equipment is also off limits.
You may call for sneeze, and so there's too high of a risk for transferring this virus, and you may never feel the symptoms and be harboring that, and that's what we're trying to prevent.
The chief says he needs all citizens' cooperation, limiting exposure to each other to make sure the community remains safe.
Don't let your guard down. Let's keep doing it because the sooner we do this, then the sooner we can get back to whatever normal may be.
As for how that Port Neches man got the virus, Chief Lemoyne says the young man travels a lot for work, so that might have been the source. We also checked with the public information officer for the Emergency Operations Center in downtown Beaumont to see if anything could be done to speed up the process of getting information from the health departments to that EOC. She told us the county judges don't have authority over the health departments. Greg?
All right, Angel, thank you. In Louisiana, COVID-19 cases continue to rise daily as the state gets help from the federal government and private companies. Fox 4 News anchor Kimberly Roosley joins us now in the newsroom. Kimberly.
Hey, Greg, so Governor Edwards just announced on Facebook that he does believe that the mitigation efforts are helping in Louisiana, but there's still work to be done. So let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers from Louisiana Department of Health. The state now has more than 16,000 cases of coronavirus, with the number of deaths sitting at 582. Here's some good news, though. Gator Mill Works, which is a company in Denham Springs, is now making face shields for healthcare workers. Leaders at the company say their equipment can be used to process just about any material. When they heard about the need for protective gear, they immediately ordered raw materials like foam, elastic, and plastic. They plan to produce 1,000 face masks per day by the end of the week.
Right in our wheelhouse to put together, and it fit a need.
And the company says they are now working to streamline that process so they can make masks even quicker. Greg?
All right, Kim, thank you. Rain and storms coming to southeast Texas, but how soon? Let's check in now with Greg with a first look at the forecast and rain on the way.
Yeah, we're talking Thursday. Now, tomorrow, the thing we're looking at there is really warm temperatures, some of the warmest we've had this year. Upper 80s. Very close to 90 in a few spots, in fact, as we look at our camera, looking back to the northeast across Interstate 10. Here in Beaumont, sponsored by Roofing 911, kind of hazy out there. We have a lot of moisture in the air. Maybe a little bit of fog out there, but nothing that's going to really amount to too much. 94% humidity right now. The WeatherNet, Market Basket WeatherNet at Gilbert Adams law firm. 84 degrees on Calder Street there, 73 for the current temperature. So, looks like thunderstorms are likely on Thursday. Then we're going to talk about some big rain chances look like coming our way too as we head on into the rest of the weekend. It looks like the cloud cover's thinning just a little bit. The algae count is still a problem here, still in the high levels on grass pollen. If you're heading down to the coast, the water temperature right now is 73, and at least the rip current forecast is a little bit lower for tomorrow. Thunderstorms, that's what we're going to talk about in just a few minutes.
Developing tonight, every state park in Texas is now closed. Casualties for now of the battle against COVID-19. KFDM's Tiffany Murphy is anchoring remotely and joins us for more on that story. And Tiffany, Governor Abbott taking strong action to slow down the coronavirus.
He is. A lot of folks upset about that, obviously, because a lot of Texans love their state parks. They love camping, fishing, hiking, but these days, the governor says those parks need to be off limits. Searim State Park in Jefferson County shutting down at 5 o'clock tonight. That's when every other park and historic site also closed. We found a couple that traveled in their RV all the way from Oklahoma today to enjoy Searim. They arrived Sunday. Now, they plan to stay until Friday, but when the order came down, they had to get out. The governor says the decision will help with social distancing and reducing places where large crowds may hang out. The governor says those parks are going to do what they can and remain closed until it's appropriate to reopen them. Meantime, tonight, an 18-year-old Carlton woman is facing charges after police say she threatened to spread COVID-19 intentionally. Lorraine Meridegara said on Snapchat she tested positive for the virus. also saying she would purposely spread the infection. Authorities say they are charging her with making a terroristic threat, which is a felony. She turned herself in, changed her story, saying she doesn't have coronavirus. Her bond tonight set at $20,000. A judge ordered her to quarantine for 21 days after she's released from jail. Greg?
Well, Dr. Fauci seems to have become a household name these days. We go one-on-one with the doctor, asking him about his relationship with the president and his no-nonsense science-based approach.
Very warm conditions for tonight, well above normal temperatures. Tomorrow, making a run at 90 in a few spots.